Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Grammy-winning R&B star Anthony Hamilton performs a Christmas concert at Capital One Hall this Sunday night in Tysons, Virginia. I spoke to Hamilton about the show, which is presented by Pastor Howard John Wesley of Alfred Street Baptist Church in Alexandria, Virginia.
Hey, I'm Pastor Howard John Wesley from Alfred Street Baptist Church in Alexandria, Virginia, and we've got the great joy of hosting our other guest who's on with us today.
I'm Anthony Hamilton, and I am the guest, and I am honored to be here.
Yes, the Grammy-winning R&B artist, Anthony Hamilton, which I promise as we go in this interview and I drop some of these song titles, everybody's going to know your stuff. But this is really cool. So Alfred Street Baptist Church in Alexandria is going to be presenting the concert. It's called A Very Merry Come As You Are Christmas Concert, but it'll be held in Tysons, Virginia at Capital One Hall this Sunday at 7 p.m. I guess I don't know who wants to take this to start, but what was the connection, Anthony, with the Alfred Street Baptist Church? How'd you get involved with them? How'd you hear about them?
Well, they came to my team and my people, and I guess they saw that I was fitting for the occasion, and I had the spirit and the music that the people of the church wanted to hear, and they asked me, and I was like, hey, it makes sense. I'm a Southern Baptist boy from Charlotte, North Carolina, and getting back to my roots.
So you grew up singing in the church? Is that how you started your whole music career? Was in the church?
Yeah, church was one of the first places I ever allowed myself to hear myself. In
more ways than one, right?
yeah, because Big Mama was like, "You gonna do something at the church? You gonna work in the church, or you gonna do something."
Oh, that's so great. And then in terms, I'd love to hear more about growing up and stuff in your journey, but real quick, just to start off with the Christmas concert, what all sort of songs are we going to hear? Are we working at a set list? I don't want to spoil everything, but I do like to, drop a couple song titles for my radio pieces. It's a nice little teaser.
Well, they're going to actually hear the classics, some classic soul songs, and there's going to be some, we have some Christmas songs that are classics, new classics and old classics that we may mix in. So.
Like which ones are there? The great hymns, the Christmas carols, or do you have a song title or two you can tease for us?
Definitely gonna have Charlene and Pass Me Over, and those songs are staples people really love.
Jason, that's all we got him here. We want to hear those, man. If we don't get Charlene, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Yes, sir. Well, I got you covered.
Those are the hits. How about Christmas carols? Do you know which holiday tunes we might hear?
You know what? We're still working on it. So, like my MD and I, we're just trying to see which ones sound better.
Right.
And I know there's a choir that we'll be incorporating. So we want to make sure we can use the choir as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and tell us about let's have the pastor chime in on that part, I guess. Tell us about the choir and why it sounds so beautiful, especially around Christmas time.
Well, I mean, first of all, let me just say that it's a huge honor to bring Anthony Hamilton in and to hear the soulful songs that touch our hearts and the ones that remind us of Christmas over one of our greatest voices of this generation. I mean, everyone loves Anthony Hamilton. This is really sponsored by a part of our church called Kaya, which stands for Come As You Are. It's our opportunity. It started really to bring young adults together and allow them to enjoy being Christian and in the world, realizing that those are not mutually exclusive, that being a child of God does not mean that you isolate yourself from the world, but that you find a way to be engaged in it and to enjoy the gifts. And so, we do a lot of events internal and external to the church. And we decided, with Christmas, everyone loves Christmas music. Here's an opportunity for us to gather people together. We're finally getting back in our spaces after COVID. And what voice could draw us together in Christmas concert? And it was clear. I mean, when I tell you the name Anthony Hamilton rose to the top, and then Jason, the thing that amazed us was how easy Anthony was to work with. He immediately said, yes, we're able to work out all the details. There are no obstacles. It almost came together intuitively and instinctively. And that was just amazing. That's our way of saying, hey, this thing was meant to be. So looking forward, to bring him together. And then he made the request of saying, hey, well, do you all have some voices? So imagine singing in the church choir, now finding out you get to back up Anthony Hamilton. Man, it don't get no better. So we've got some of our best voices who are thrilled to be on stage. Man, they're gonna be taking selfies left and right, and they're gonna blow up social media because they get to back up Anthony Hamilton.
Wow.
Hey, you know what? They're ready. They've been backing up, the Holy Spirit all these years, so they can do it. They can do it for Anthony.
Absolutely.
And real quick, I would want to follow up. You mentioned the "Come as You Are" approach is sort of like this unique worship experience, where it's like focusing on millennials and that kind of stuff. Like, what sort of other programs do you have related to that? If you don't mind, and while you're on here, did I see you're doing some sort of like refraining from social media for like a fasting thing? Like what all sort of stuff you got?
Well, we usually start, so just, Kaya itself, Come As You Are, as a ministry, they meet once a quarter in a worship service. We have Kaya Outdoors, where we're doing Bible study in the parks. We have social events. We have spades tournaments. We get together in restaurants for Kaya brunch and have dominoes tournaments. It's really just an opportunity for people to gather and have fun. Church-wide, we always start our calendar year with the fast, Jason, and we call it Seek, where we kind of turn off the world and really just focus on seeking the presence of God in our own lives to be the best Christians that we can be. And this year we've got a 40-day journey that begins next year, that begins January 11th through February 19th, where we will be removing ourselves from social media, from television, some dietary components, some financial components, to really focus in on, what the world needs most, which are folk who not only say the name Jesus, but live it in their daily lives and how they interact with people and are loving. So, that's something we do every year. We're looking forward to it this year as well.
Awesome. And that kicks off in January. But first, in now that it's December, you definitely break out the social media and share all the news about this concert. But it's going to be so awesome. Well, Anthony, I'd love to hear a little more about your journey. I mean, you already said you grew up in Charlotte, in the 70s, singing in church and all that stuff. And tell me about sort of the move to New York. That I know you signed with Uptown Records, did that first album, XTC. Like, how did that? What inspired you to finally make that move and pursue this as a legit, professional career?
Well, just when you love something so much, you want to dive into it, and music was the thing. From the womb, I knew this is what I was supposed to be doing, and God gave me the assignment, and I never thought twice about it. I made sure that I put myself in places where I can meet people. I met a guy by the name of Mark Sparks, who had worked with Mary J. Blige and Salt and Pepper, introduced me to New York, the New York scene. And Andre Harrell and Jimmy Jenkins and those guys were interested in what I was doing. Russell Simmons came to a showcase. And, being that I was from Charlotte, North Carolina, where Jodeci came from, who also some other church boys, they were looking into the city like, wow, these guys probably have something pretty special. And I did the showcase, and Andre Harrell was like, hey, I see the vision. I want to go with him. And I signed my first record deal in 93.
That's so cool. And obviously that first album, XTC, in 96. But I guess it was that second album that really made you a household name. Everybody knew who you were by the time you did Coming From Where I'm From in 2003. Tell me about putting together, I guess, that title track was a hit. And then also you meant the pastor mentioned he had to hear Charlene, which is also off that album. But any memories of putting together those two songs in particular, Coming From Where I'm From and Charlene? Any good stories from the studio?
Absolutely,
or right
yeah.
now?
Yeah, I had a few record deals that were, I signed to Uptown, and that deal fell through due to the structure with Uptown and MCA. And so it fell through the cracks. So my album was shelved pretty much. And then I started on a new album with Harrell Entertainment. And then from there, I went to Atlantic Records. And nobody could really hear where I was going. And so I had a bad breakup in between that. And I would go down in New York on 34th Street to work with a producer who produced Charlene and Coming From Where I'm From, Mark Batson. And these are the songs that came out through broken heart and just feeling like I was at my lowest point career-wise. This was, what came out, and it was what people needed. I guess everybody felt a connection to what my spirit had presented in my music, and from there it came out, and people were like, "That's what we need."
Yeah, absolutely, and Pastor Howard John Wesley, why do you love Charlene so much? You called that out earlier, and what's the other one you said? You said "Pass Over Me," or "Pass Me Over," I guess. Why do you love those? Why do you love those songs?
So, hey, first of all, Anthony Hamilton has a very unique voice that we needed in that time. When you talk about soulful and being able to connect, it wasn't this hip hoppy. It was a balladeer. Going back to the days of like the Luther Vandrosses and the Freddys, who would just stand up and sing. And Anthony's got that deep soulful voice, but then the songs connect. I mean, I love Charlene, but if I'm gonna tell you my top, Anthony, I gotta let you know, is The Point of It All. I mean, he sang that at the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, when I was wrestling with love, man, that thing that thing resonated, Jason, with exactly where I was. And I think that's the really power and uniqueness of Anthony Hamilton, is not just the voice and the gift, but the fact that the music relates to where people really, really are, and they connect to it, and then you tie yourself to it. So, The Point of It All, man, that's in my top 5 love songs of ever. You hear me?
Oh, wow, I appreciate it. I have to. That song is always request for weddings and just all the time, man. Yeah, on Cameo, and just people love it. I sing it. Not only the women love it, man, but the men, it's like, oh my God, this is for my baby. This is for my wife. It's for my love. And that feels really good, because that was one of the songs that I was recording out in LA with the Avila Brothers. And we couldn't get nothing. That we had been in the studio for hours and we had nothing. We came up with nothing. We had a good time laughing, but on my way out, I had my backpack on and everything. So I heard the bass player. He started going bloom, 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 bloom. And then they were putting a beat together, and I put my backpack down, and I was like, I'm not going anywhere. This sounds like it's about to be something.
What was that? He turns back around.
Yeah, man. And we wrote that song right there, like standing up, and and it was amazing, man. And Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis's studio.
Oh, those guys are the best. We interviewed them a couple months ago. They're just, obviously legends, but they're just also super nice guys. Like, they would be perfect for this concert too. It fits the vibe. Wow, that's so awesome. And well, I see. I love to hear that the pastor's favorite is The Point of It All. I love hearing those personal stories, and they've played at weddings and stuff. That's so cool. And then in terms of a lot of people also, Anthony, a lot of people remember a lot of your collabs that you did. I remember, isn't that you on the chorus of Po Folks, Nappy Roots, All My Life Been Po? That's Absolutely. You, right?
Yeah, that's me.
What was it like working with those guys? Obviously, they rap the verses, but the chorus, that is signature sound.
Absolutely, it was like a family reunion, man. Some cousins I had never met, and that was a magical time in my life. That actually set the whole scene for everybody to put the voice and the name together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that was sort of if they if they hadn't heard of you at that point with your original stuff, they knew you from that. And then I also have to ask you about, you were also on the chorus of Jadakiss's Why, which is all that I've been given is pain I've been given. I, as a movie guy, I always quote that song with the why did Denzel have to go crooked before he took it and all that stuff. But how cool was it working with Jadakiss on that?
Jadakiss is one of the best to ever touch the mic, man. One of the most prolific lyricists, writers, rappers, poets. And he's classic. He'll go down as one of the best to have ever done it. That song is historic, and it touched on a lot of things. And, being a part of that was, sealing my deal in history in the hip hop community.
Absolutely. And
he's in my top 5, Jason. I'll let you know. Jadakiss, top 5 lyricists all time, hands down.
All right, who's your 5 then?
you open the
not to put you on the spot, but
hey man, it depends on how far back you want to go. So I got to put Eric B on there. I got to go with Jay-Z. I got to put Big on my list. I got to put Pac. I'm going to put Jada, and believe it or not, I love Eminem. I think Eminem like lyricist
Absolutely.
is up there.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Absolutely.
you don't have to say believe it or not. We believe it. The guy is insane. That is a good 5 right there. I mean, I love it. So you're up on the modern stuff. That's the kind of pastor that we need for this come as you are stuff. That's what I'm
I got
talking.
an 18 and a 16-year-old at home, Jason. I have no choice but to be.
Oh, exactly. I'm 38.
That'll do it.
This is my era. These artists you're dropping, Jay-Z and Eminem and Anthony Hamilton, that's my era.
But Jason, listen to this, man. My 18-year-old is coming. It's actually his birthday is the same day as a concert. And he was like, Dad, can I come hear Anthony Hamilton? I'm like, well, what you know about Anthony Hamilton songs? You too young to know what he's singing about, but he wants to come to the concert. And I think that goes to show again the scope of Anthony Hamilton. Like, you've got an 18-year-old young man who wants to come hear another brother sing. I mean, that to me is the greatest gift of all. So I am thrilled to welcome Anthony Hamilton and to bring him on stage with us at Alpha Street when I know that my son is listening, going, I love that music.
Well, it's probably because now it's on Spotify, Pandora, like the delivery systems change over the years, but it's still great music. And well, actually, a lot of before we go too, Anthony, a lot of people have probably heard your stuff going to the movies too. Like you did the Do You Feel Me on American Gangster, and you did the Freedom on Django Unchained. What was it like getting to work for the big screen with that? And is it something you'd like to continue to do?
Absolutely. Since then, I've worked on Best Man Holiday. I've been on Empire. I've been blessed to do, a few other movies. I just did one BET special with Paula Patton. And yeah, it's always when you can extend who you are and gain new fans and experience something new, doing what you love. It's always something that, I don't know, it's inspiring to keep going. And so being in the movies, something I've always been a fan of: theater, acting, scoring, just drama and just being different characters, not only through music, but through acting. It's something that's always been right there at the forefront of who I am and what I desire to be great at.
That's so cool. Does Denzel or Jamie Foxx or any of them ever come up afterward and thank you for, the movie wouldn't be the same without your stuff? Ever any good feedback?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I met Denzel actually before we even filmed. It was at the 70th anniversary of the Apollo, and he asked me. He said, "I bet you don't remember the first time we met." I said, "I bet I do." He said, "When?" I said, "The 70th anniversary of the Apollo." That's right. It's good to have you here. Give me a pat. Then we're gonna have fun, and we did. And
you got the impression down. You do a good Denzel.
Man, there's only one, man. You just got to do Denzel. You just do it.
Okay. Explain it to me like I'm a 4-year-old. All right. Well, I love it so much. It's been an insane career, and you're still just getting going. But we could talk all day, but you've been generous with your time, both of you. I guess before we run, final, pretend like I'm not even here. Like you're reaching out and talking directly to our WTOP listeners here in DC. Like, hey everyone, come on out. It's gonna be a good festive event here Sunday.
Hey, well, listen. I'm thrilled. Anthony speaks for himself. His voice draws and calls. We're going to be together at the Capital One Center in Tysons, Virginia on this upcoming Sunday, December 18th. The doors open at 6. I think we're almost sold out, Jason. I mean, it didn't take long for people to grab those tickets, but it's going to be a very Merry Kaya Christmas. And we're welcoming Grammy Award-winning singer and songwriter Anthony Hamilton to sing the classics and the carols.
Absolutely, and I'm ecstatic, and I'm excited, man, to bring in the New Year, the Christmas holiday with such great people, man. And no better way to do it than the Baptist way. So come there, be who you are. We meet you where you are, and we're gonna love on you, and we're gonna celebrate.
All right, sounds good. Again, it's the Alfred Street Baptist Church is going to be presenting a very Merry Come As You Are Christmas concert with Grammy-winning R&B star Anthony Hamilton. It's going to be at Capital One Hall in Tysons, Virginia this Sunday starting at 7 p.m., so don't miss it. Hey, thank you both so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it so much.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.
Explain your DNA on 10 cases, man.
You're inside the police interrogation room with the alleged Potomac River rapist.
I'm not guilty on any of this stuff.
So calm, so reasonable. Could this be the man who terrorized women for 9 years before murdering a brilliant scientist 2 decades ago? Experience one of the most fascinating true crime podcasts available. Join crime reporter Paul Wagner for Unknown Subject, Season 3 of WTOP's American Nightmare series. Search American Nightmare Podcast on all podcast platforms.
I wanted to take a second to tell you about an app I really enjoy. Living in the DC area is great, and Podcast DC gathers all of the local shows that I like all in one local app. Health, sports, local news, politics, and so much more. Podcast DC is the new local app with hundreds of DC area podcasts to choose from. I can earn exciting rewards just for listening and share the podcasts I love instantly. Available in the App Store or in Google Play, listen local with Podcast DC.